Hey guys, I'm going to give you a quick, I guess, crash course on how to make LED light rings on the cheap. What do you say? You say, what are you talking about, LED light rings? Well, you see I'm standing in my boat, and big thing in our lake is to have rings between your speaker and the mounting structure, and then have LEDs behind it so it illuminates them. LED light rings are not a new concept. I just kind of changed it a little bit. Let me show you kind of what I'm talking about. In my boat, I have Rockford Fosgate M282 wake tower speakers up here, which we have flush mounted to the tower using some special bolts to get into aluminum. Let me turn on my LEDs. Now, my batteries are really low in my remote, so they're going to come on very, very low. But this kind of gives you an idea. These are the first round that I went with. This is a clear acrylic ring with LEDs behind it, and they're actually low density LEDs, so they're only 20 per foot instead of 60 per foot. So therefore, you get less, it's all, you see them spaced out, and you can see the individual LEDs. I wanted something a little bit different. So I went to Bed Bath & Beyond, and I got a cutting board, which basically is translucent. You can almost see through it. It just lets light through it. That's all it does. And I use the template of the speaker itself for a cutout opening, and the outside of this grill to make a template on this. And then I cut it out, and then ordered a little bit longer screws from Fastenal. Just basically took the screw, these little hex that I have here, I took these up to Fastenal and had them duplicate them basically, or find them for me, ordered them in. Make sure you get stainless steel if you're doing this on your boat. And then re-drilled everything, screwed it back together, and then I drilled a hole in this back area here and ran my LED lights through there, and then siliconed it up so it's all nice and sealed up. So now when you turn them on, you don't see each individual LED. It looks more like a neon ring, and when it's fully bright and you see it at night, I'll see if I can include a picture in this video also so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. It really, really makes a difference between that, which I am going to be changing out, and that. So guys, that's a quick, easy way to do it. Bed Bath & Beyond, just look for cutting boards. I think these had like a black handle. They were like $7 or $8 a piece, and I bought 2 of them. Two rings would come out of each cutting board, and I've done 4. Right about now, you're probably wondering, well, where do I buy these LEDs that go in the light rings? Well, there's about 8,000 different places to buy them from, and there's about 8,000 different choices. I'm going to show you exactly what I did, which I think is better for a 12-volt environment. Now, these LED light rings can be done for cars, it could be done for boats, whatever. Not sure about the legalities of doing them in cars because of the blinking and stuff like that. We actually do get in trouble on our lake for running our LEDs blinking. So we have to actually have them solid color or something like that because they don't want people to think you're a cop or something like that. So you can't be a rolling dance party out there. But back to what I was saying. So where do you find these LEDs? What's the best place to get them? Well, I'll show you. As you can see here, there is quite a few, just searching the search term that I'm using. What I search is the LED 5050 RGB. Now what that's going to bring up is a whole bunch of different kits that you can buy. Now this is just on Amazon. It's very simple to do. I was buying them through a place in China, but they take forever to get here until I discovered you can get the same stuff for just a teeny bit more here in the US. But you can see, like right here, they're usually all going to be 5 meters. This is a Super Night 16.4 foot, 5 meter waterproof flexible 300 LEDs. It's called the SMD 5050. That's very, very crucial. The 5050 is the higher density or more lights per foot, you'd say, and they're brighter. This kit is only $24. That comes with, let's click on it. Oop, I just bumped the camera, sorry guys. So let's click on this and see what it's all about. So you can see it's a pretty substantial kit there. It's got an infrared remote, a controller, and a plug-in. Now, this one's a plug-in, which it converts it to 12 volts, so you could run it as 12 volts also. Personally, I do not like using the infrared remotes. I have never found one that works 100%. You're usually missing 1 or 2 colors, or it doesn't do it correctly. What you're looking for is this LED strip right here. And it has, you can see it's got red, green, blue, all that kind of stuff, the little lights or little the wires, and those indicate the colors, red, green, and blue. So you could just end up buying this, $24, and be happy and go with it there. But to be honest with you, what I like is the RF controller, which is right here. I don't know why. Oh, that's a lot of this 50 sets at $874. I'll go in here and find one that's actually, I buy these in lots, so that's the one I have bookmarked. This is an RF remote, and it takes 2 AAA batteries, and then this piece goes somewhere else, and your red, green, and blue and ground wires go into this controller, and then there's 12 volts on the other side. This allows you to do anything without pointing the remote. I have never found a problem with it, and you just sit here and you swipe your finger around, and it changes the color. I wanted to show that to you in my boat, but the problem is, though, is that the batteries were so dead because it's been cold, and I didn't have any to replace them. But this is a 2.4 gigahertz, and you can use it all over the place. It's somewhat water resistant, which is nice if you're on a boat, but if we're at the docks having a party, I can adjust the colors and make them dance. I can do all kinds of stuff based on, whatever I like. So let me go back and find out one that is actually a singular and show you kind of how much they cost and show you just how cheap this is to do. Here's another great option, because I know somebody's going to watch this and go, well, why would I buy that other LED light strip with the other controller with it, the infrared controller? Why would I not just find LED strips alone? Well, here's the issue with that, is it's not always available. I don't always see them. So this is one I found right here, and it says that it's the same thing, the Super Night 16.4 5 meter 50/50 RGB, which is what you want. Now the picture they're using is not the RGB LEDs. You see it's only got a black and a red wire, which means it's going to be either one color alone. If it is the RGB, it's going to have the red, green, and blue colors plus a white or a black for ground. So here's the thing. That's where you can find these sometimes, but sometimes it's better just to buy them with the infrared controller with them. You may end up using it somewhere, who knows. But this one's only $15. So $10 more, you get the whole other controller also with it. But it's totally up to you. Sometimes I will buy, if I do find a good reputable source, I'll buy 8, 9, 10 of these rolls at a time, because we do use these in our home theater stuff as well. And not just my boats or any projects or anything like that. So that's one of the things you got to kind of look at. And I figured I'd show you that because I knew somebody's going to ask that question. And there are other accessories you need to kind of think about also. If you don't feel like soldering or doing anything, because these things can be cut every, 8, 10 inches. I forget what it is. It depends on the manufacturer. And then you've got to put some type of connection. I just solder mine just because I'm used to it. But they do have little connectors you can buy that make quick connects. But those quick connects don't always work 100%. You got to remember we're dealing with China here. So, like I said, if you're good at soldering and you enjoy messing with it, I just solder Cat 5 onto it. It's not a big deal. Anyway, that's all. I think that will address the why'd you buy the one with infrared control as well. Well, this kind of explains it. It's just they're kind of hard to find. Hey, I found something even better. See, I go and start teaching you guys something and find something better that I want to go with. This is the upgraded model to the one that I have. You see, $29.99. So $30 plus the other $30. So a total of $60. And you get an RF controller and 5 meters of LED strips. And 5 meters is quite a bit. I can do a whole bunch of light rings for that amount of money. But this one adds something really cool to it. It's musical, which means when you're playing your boots and pants, your country or whatever you're listening to, classical, but it has a microphone that allows it to dance with your music. I have been looking for that. So guess what? Good old Jay is adding it to his cart. Yep. So we are now 100% going to be kick butt on the big boat this year. But that just shows you how simple this stuff is to find on Amazon. All I searched was LED Touch RF because that's radio frequency. Let me get a big picture there. Yep. So it's got an adjustable knob right here so we can adjust how much we want it to listen. Now the one thing is about mine is actually underneath my cabin. So I'm wondering if I need to have like an external microphone or something like that. That's probably what we'll end up having to do. So I'm going to do a little bit of research on this one, but this is kind of cool. But they do make them where they do not have the music interface, and I think they're still 20, 25 bucks. Now, be prepared. These things are made in China, and I've had ones that don't work. But if you buy from a reputable place, like this is Prime from Amazon, man, you got all kinds of like retribution if they screw you over or anything like that. So anyway, that's where I get my stuff from. I found that Amazon's a good place. There is a place locally I can go, but they're really kind of hit or miss of what they have in stock. So, you know what? Why not just get it from Amazon? Free shipping, get it here quickly. So guys, I hope that helps a lot. I'd like to pass any knowledge or tips and tricks that I find along the way of my life to you guys. Because I know I search a lot for these things, and it seems like there's not just a ton of information that kind of give you ideas. And I'm all about kind of doing things on a budget and helping people out. I mean, yes, you can go buy rings for those Rockford Fosgate M282s at $100 a pair, whereas you can do up to, gosh, 8 or 9 pairs for that amount, even with new LEDs and everything, and it's just ridiculous. So if you got a jigsaw or a router, and that's another little tip I was going to tell you about, is we use a router with a plunge bit upside down, and we screw the template to the acrylic or the stuff, and we slide it in there and we go around. Now the best thing I've found is I take a jigsaw and I cut the majority of the meat out around the ring first, and then I do the plunge bit after that and then go around it from there. So that way that plunge bit is only cutting off what you don't need. And if you don't have a router table, it's no big deal. You can make one. You get an $80 router and have the bit sticking up, and you just make it out of wood. That's what my buddy did, and I cannot take credit for coming up with that. It's a friend of mine who's in big in the audio business and the boats. He helped me with all this, but I wanted to show you how cool it is to be able to make these if you're a do-it-yourselfer. Most of the people that have these big old yachts, they don't want to make it themselves. They just pay somebody else to take care of it. But if you're like me, you want to do it on the cheap. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Got lots more videos coming out. Thumbs up and share my videos.